Hi everybody, this is Alchemist 2 and I'm back again with another book review. Sorry for the mess, I'm still kind of going through stuff and getting ready for the process of moving, so yeah, everything's a wreck and you can tell I'm kind of a hoarder. But anyway, this is the second book of Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard, and the second book is called The Hammer of Thor, and as title would suggest, it does encompass finding the Hammer of Thor. Sorry, spoiler, but Sam has been, of course against her will, engaged, or she's going to be married to a giant, and she is not, she's a Valkyrie, and she's not looking forward to this. And what I like about Sam's character is she's a Muslim character, and they incorporate that into the book series. And what's really pleasant about this is they make the reader realize that not all Islamic people are bound by Sharia law and, crazed fatwa lunatics that have a vendetta or just blowing themselves up as terrorists. No, I know some Islamic people myself, so I can vouch for this as truth. So it's nice to see a character. It's sort of like I don't know if Miss Marvel. I think Miss Marvel is too. Kamala Khan, I do believe her name is. I don't read the comic book, but I really need to, because I remember when it came out, it was a big deal because I think that was the first time that they had a super heroine that was Islamic. And I thought, well, finally, it's the 21st century. Get with the program here. I thought, oh, cool. They've had every other kind of superhero or superheroine, but never one that was actually Islamic. That's awesome. Anyway, this little sidetrack there, but she kind of reminds me of Miss Marvel in that way. Maybe they were doing an incorporation, because I think Miss Marvel or Captain Marvel is down the line for sorry, still getting over this cold. Still, what we're going to expect from Disney, and this of course is published by Disney Hyperion, and Mr. Reardon is just the master sage of spinning a good yarn. And I love the scene with Thor. I'm not going to say what it is. It's just so hysterical. It's just stuff that you would never, ever, ever consider him doing. It's completely ironic and so comical. And Loki, of course, is up to his old tricks. I hate Loki. But I love the different characters. And Magnus is self-deprecating, and he's so funny. But he has every reason to be. He comes from a very dysfunctional family, and then we get a little bit of a sneak peek as to what we can expect as fans. And if we're Percy Jackson fans, we are screaming our heads off from the rafters. I won't say why, but I will give you a little bit of a hint. It heralds and brings me a nostalgia of kids like myself growing up in the 90s and having crossovers like Kim Possible and Lilo and Stitch. Yeah, that was pretty boss back in the day. That was tight. But I can't believe I just said tight. Anyway, yeah, who do I think I am? Anyway, second book of the series is just phenomenally written. I enjoyed the action, and of course I love Jack. The sword, But it's so funny that he gives it. Well, the reason he calls himself that is because his original name is much more difficult to pronounce, and he prefers to be called Jack. He's a sentient sword, and I don't know. It kind of reminds me of some animes with. I don't even know if there were any sentient swords. There was a singing sword in Roger Rabbit. That's just maybe they're doing an homage to that. I don't know. It's just kind of out there. It's way out there. That's really far-fetched, but just kind of reminded me of that. And just the fact that he has an attraction to other pieces of equipment, armor, armory equipment. It's like, how can you tell that is even an attractive piece of equipment of battle of armor or of defense? It's just so funny. But Annabeth is back, and she only comes into play near the very last chapter of the book. And I won't say what happens or what it even indicates, but like I said, it's just something that if you're a fan, especially of crossovers like I am, you're squeeing and you're having a geek breakdown. Is so many years overdue, I think. I'm looking forward to that. Of course, it's fall of 2017, but I mean, it's really not that far away given how fast this year has gone. But as far as books are concerned, 2 thumbs way up, 5 stars, hands down. No kvetching, no complaining. There's nothing even the slightest bit wrong with this series. It's very distinguishable, even though it deliberately makes fun of itself as kind of being a little bit of a mirror of Percy Jackson. It's different, and of course I'm reading the Vahalla book, which is kind of a concourse and a compendium, and I'm going to go ahead and tie that in, actually. I'm almost done with it. But it's very well done. It gives you everything that you possibly would need to know, and the illustrations are just top-notch. And it's also very funny. There's no Valkyries. I love Valkyries. Valkyries are incredible. There are... Oh, it talks about, Destiny buzzword. Oh, for me, it's giant. Well, I kind of wonder about that. Hopefully I won't have to fight any giants. I've been fighting a few giants in my life. But it's just also... Hotel Valhalla. It's sort of like with the Greek gods, but that one's also illustrated as color illustrations. This is just as nice if you're interested in Norse mythology. And I had gotten the whole mythology of mistletoe wrong, because actually, if I go back, where is it? I may not be able to find it right away, but it was Hor who was mistakenly shot. Yeah, Hor mistakenly shot Balder with a mistletoe laced arrow. And of course, Frigga had to bring Balder back to life, and she wasn't too happy about it, but that's the whole mythology of mistletoe. I thought, oh, finally I got it right. So now I cannot be yelled at by people who are purists in Norse mythology. That's about all I have to say. Yep. That's a very short... This is so short. This book is incredibly short, but like I said, it's just a compendium, and it talks about... Yeah, it even has a shameless plug. Alright. Yeah, would you please stop killing my goat? And of course, I love my favorite. Well, I love Percy Jackson, but The Trials of Apollo is my ultimate favorite, just because Apollo is one of my... Well, other than Hermes, Apollo is one of my favorite gods. But that's pretty much all I gotta say about this particular series and the little compendium or guide or companion that goes along with it. It's a nice thing to have. It's just good for reference, and I adore mythology, so it's right up my alley. And again, Rick Riordan, you hit another one out of the park. This is absolutely hysterical, and I enjoy the humor in it, and some of it's kind of morbid, but Norse mythology is very bloody. I've read through it, and it's wild, but it's well worth it if you have a chance to do it. It's very entertaining, and I can see why it would make a really good subject for film, of course, with Thor. But the Thor that what we have presented here is much more Sorry, much more accurate. I do love Marvel's Thor. Don't get me wrong. I adore Chris Hemsworth. I think that he's dreamy. I usually don't go for blondes, but he's just an unbelievable guy. I don't know much about him in real life, but as far as characterizations of Thor in general, I think Reardon gets it right. I think Reardon's vision of Thor just being, a male, a very outspoken, kind of body, loud, boisterous type, and, belching and farting, that kind of male, yeah. It suits him so much better. Although they did get one part of that right in the first movie. I demand sustenance. Give me my meat. More coffee. But I thought, yeah, so true. Where does he think he's not in Valhalla? But sometimes I say I require sustenance just because I'm kind of a nerd. But that's all I gotta say about Magnus Chase and Hammer Thor and Hotel Valhalla, Guide to the Norse Worlds. So pick them up if you haven't yet at their tremendous reads. Till next time, live long and prosper. Ciao, Tootsie.